Loretta, how are you this week?
I'm doing well. How about you? A little red on the nose, though, but you know.
Oh, looks like you got some sun.
Had a pool day. It was great.
Relaxing.
I took your advice and took some time for me, so, you know.
Good. Well, so today I'm really glad that you came in. I'd like to set up an agenda and really talk about the agenda, just so that you know what to expect and you know what to look forward for next. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Perfect. So as far as the agenda goes, we can really call it by whatever name we'd like to, but it's just sort of a definitive schedule of what we're going to be talking about today.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have such limited time together, I really want to make sure that we pinpoint and identify something that has really been challenging you or causing you a lot of stress, and talk about it and discuss different ways that we're able to cope with it, so that we can start using these things to really get some changes going on in your life. So as far as what I would like to do today, is sort of check in, do a quick mood check, see how you're feeling today, discuss, what happened this week, if there's anything of, major concern that we can discuss today, sort of look back on our homework, see how that went with us, and, how it felt doing it this week, and if there were any challenges that you had while doing that. After that, we can go ahead and discuss homework that we can do for this week, something else that we can do as we move forward. And then at the end, I would like to get some feedback from you, and then we can schedule our next session. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I would like to do is let's talk about your diagnosis that we have for you, and different some information about that and what we can expect through CBT.
Sure.
Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So let's jump into our mood check. So on a scale of 0 being the least, not anxious at all, and 10 being very, very, very anxious, the most anxious you have been, what was this week like?
Probably maybe a 6.5.
Okay, so that's pretty stressful this week.
I mean, it's just the end of the school week or the school year, and it's the last full week of school, so there's lots and lots of paperwork and lots of deadlines. So, I mean, it was doable, but, it was a little frustrating because there's just a lot of things to do.
Sure. Okay, so just like I explained last week, I will be writing things down just as I get to, your situation and not forget about anything. So what I'm hearing is that, still kind of similar to last week, of there being even more deadlines as we get even closer to that date, and it's sort of, the pressure is sort of on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is.
So, so 6, it's, pretty high. Let's talk about sort of this week in general. What were some of the things that really stood out to you as far as stressors go?
Well, like I told you last time, we have, a group of 7 women on our team, and some are a little bit stronger in their work ethic than others, I mean, some people are kind of all over the place, and they allow other things to get in their mind, I guess, in what they can and cannot do throughout the day. So it's a little frustrating in that aspect, but I kind of did what you told me to do about like writing down what bothered me,
Mm-hmm.
and I did do that. It really helped because I was able to identify, and then I, like you said to write down how I felt, and so I did that, and I kind of like read over it a couple times, and then I was able to tell myself, I really don't have to allow this affect me. Yes, it may have made me feel this way, but I really don't have to allow it to be like that, because I can make another option. I kind of did that, when we had to do this one thing where we all had to like work on our common work area, how we're all having to fix it up, because by the end of the year it gets a mess.
Mm-hmm.
And people were complaining, and I was like, look, I'm just going to go in there and get it done. And what I get done is what I get done. And I will leave whatever's left over for someone else, instead of having to feel like I've got to do it all. So that kind of helped me. Even though I was, frustrated at first, I was like, wait a minute, no, I'm supposed to write it down. So it was pretty good.
Sure. So there was a decent amount that was pretty stressful this week. So just so that I have everything correct, similar to last week, there are a lot of things to be done, and it seems that some people are able to work on their things and get it done, and other people sort of either make excuses for not doing things, or just don't do the things as a whole.
Yeah, I think they complain more than anything. So
I could see that being frustrating. You're like,
yeah,
we all have the same 24 hours, but we're not using it all the same.
and we all have the same checklist that we have to go over. So it's like, okay.
Okay. And I heard that you did your homework, which I'm really excited about, and I'm really glad that you took the time to sit and look through it and make some conclusions about that, about how you want it to affect you, and different ways that you're able to cope for that for next time. So I really like that, and good for you for being able to have that plan to go in, get everything finished, and understand that I don't have to do everything, and it's okay to leave things for other people to do. I really appreciate that. So great job for this week.
Thank you.
Good. Awesome. So, I'd like to jump in and talk about your diagnosis. So what you have been diagnosed with is general anxiety disorder, and that is a very, very common diagnosis that many people of all walks of life are coping with day to day. And so, just as anyone would go to the doctor, for arthritis and for having pain, we could expect anyone to go, to a clinician to deal with their anxiety. And with anxiety, you can expect a whole bunch of things, including, increased hormones that could have effect, on your body, on, as far as how you are sleeping, how you are dealing with the world, tension in your body. So it's something that we can talk about. It's something that CBT, the type of therapy that we're doing, in these sessions, is known to be very effective for, and it's something that I definitely think that we can work on while we're here.
Oh, that's great.
Good?
Thanks.
Okay, beautiful. So let's talk about, some things this week that you'd really like to talk about during our session today, during the time that we have together.
Well, with being kind of overloaded with all kinds of things, I find that sometimes I know all the things that I have to do, but sometimes it's a little bit too much in trying to prioritize it in my mind. And yes, I have 1,000 lists. I keep up with my lists and stuff like this, but sometimes, you get distracted 100 different times a day because of, you're working with kids, and it's like, oh, which big mountain should I conquer first, And so it'd be kind of cool to, I don't know, I guess it's because I could be a perfectionist at sometimes, and it has to be done just right. So maybe just ideas on like how to cope with not having to be perfect, So
sure,
that's a good idea.
In those moments, is it specific tasks that are making you feel like you really need to be perfect, or something that is specifically stressing you out as far as a goal that you have for the end of the year?
Well, I think the one thing I'm really trying to work on is like, what is the best method to kind of stay organized, so it can benefit me in the future. Like every year at the end of the year, I try to sit there and think, okay, how can I do this better so that I can find things quickly, and I can, be able to know what my next the next material that I'm going to be needing, like where I can go and get that quickly. And I've tried a couple of different ways, and sometimes it works a little bit, and then it gets a little confusing, or I misplace something, or which is something that I do, just because you're always moving so quickly, and it's not like you could sit there in the middle of class and go, give me 5 minutes, I got to file this in the right place,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'd be good to be able to be a little more organized, and so I'm trying to find the best way to do it. It's just kind of, it's a hit and miss.
Sure. So organization is something that would really help you, and being, less distracted and able to sort of function in a way that's more effective for you, and a little bit easier to make sure that you kind of understand what's going on and what to expect next in a more efficient way.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So that is awesome. That's definitely something that we can talk about today. Is there anything else that comes to mind that you'd like to talk about?
Everything that's on my mind right now is just finishing up strong at the end of the year.
Sure.
And but you know what? Now that I think about that, though, I am trying to find another job that's closer to home.
Okay.
I think another thing that would be less stressful is not having to drive as far. I love my school dearly, and I had made some really great friends while being there. But I do want to try to find a better balance between work and home.
Okay. Yeah. So a drive, I could imagine a long commute on top of all of the other stressors that you're dealing with, kind of just being like one more thing added to your plate. So
yeah, especially since traffic here in Pasco County is getting ridiculous.
Sure. Yeah, a lot of construction, so a lot more people living here.
Yes.
Okay. So today, we will talk about, organization and, you feeling like it might be a better option for you as far as moving closer to work or getting a job closer to where you live instead of moving there. So perfect. Also, before we, delve into these topics, I'd like to, give a gentle reminder of, everything in the session, in all sessions are, going to be kept confidential. The only exceptions to that is if there's ever any, concern of you harming yourself or there being the threat of, you harming anyone else. Does that sound okay?
That's understandable.
Okay, awesome. So, organization. What do you find yourself having the most difficult time organizing?
I think it's like I said earlier, like it's just like what is the best way to keep up with all of it? Because you organize it this way and you're like, okay, well, it's good for this, but it's not good for that. And it's not always easy to file it back or to do this, that, or the other. So I usually have piles of stuff like hidden behind somewhere so no one can see it.
Okay.
It starts off really neat, but then it, throughout the year it gets a little bit
So you're saying it's, so are these tools that you're using during instruction or,
yes.
Okay, so tools being like different worksheets that the kids are doing.
Games, activities,
okay.
Stuff like that.
Okay, perfect. Just since it's a different discipline, I just want to make sure that, we're on the same page. So perfect. Mm-hmm. So different tools, worksheets, things that you use, in the course of your instruction throughout the day. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I definitely like to. Something that I've heard kind of through the last session and now is that, other people not quite doing things whenever they're supposed to be doing, you feeling overwhelmed because you have to do a lot of things, not only in your job at school, but whenever you come home, you feel kind of like you're that, solitary person too, that has, a lot of responsibility and you're just kind of worn out. Mm-hmm. So I would like to, let's talk about, something in the moment that you might be able to do, while at school to kind of handle that and deal with that a little bit better. What is, how would you feel about, instead of feeling like you have to deal with that by yourself, to maybe reach out to a different teacher, maybe a trusted friend, or maybe someone like your principal that you sound like you have a pretty good relationship, and saying, these are the problems I've had. Maybe you or someone else that has had these problems and what they've done to sort of, toggle that problem and use their tactics in your classroom.
Well, I know we have a new principal, okay. So I really don't want to sound like a complainer or a whiner to her, but there is a lady that is on my team that is a team lead actually, and I'm sure I could probably talk to her. Actually, when I was in the closet that day trying to organize all of the materials that we had, she, as well as another lady, came in, but it's the same three ladies that go in and target everything and try to take care of it. And maybe I can just talk with her to say, is there any way we can divide and conquer, and kind of like in one of our meetings, set it on our agenda that, these are the things that need to be done. We want to go ahead and divvy it out so we all can get it done at the same time and be done with everything.
Sure.
Maybe that's an idea. I don't know.
I like that idea, and it'd be someone that you trust, so it's, you would feel more comfortable. Then with the new principal, anyone new can be, a little bit intimidating. I did want to go back to you saying that you would think that you're a complainer or a whiner if you were to talk to her. Can I ask why you think that way?
I just hear, like, some comments from here and there of my peers actually doing the complaining, but then there was a comment with our principal making a statement about, if people have problems with it, like she was joking around when she said this. It was completely in just a kidding and playful way, but she was like, I'll just have to deck them one or something. And she was just totally joking around because she was like, yeah, give them a 1, 2. And so you could tell that the pressure is on her because, when you are having to come in behind a woman that was there for 13 years and started the school. I'm sure it's kind of difficult, but she's doing a pretty good job, so I don't want to add any more to her plate.
Sure. Okay. Well, I can understand that, but I do want you to understand that everyone has jobs. So, though it might be something that might be frustrating, you are definitely able, and should feel comfortable being able to go to her because that's her position at work too, and something that she went in with the understanding of. So
true. I guess that's all the way in the way that you say it and
Absolutely.
how you present it too. So
Absolutely.
I guess, yeah.
You are worthy of that support. So
that's a good way to put it.
Sure. Awesome. So awesome. So do you feel like maybe this week you might be able to meet or start meeting with your coworker who you spoke of earlier, and maybe talk with her, maybe say like 15 minutes a week. Pick like a day and time, 15 minutes on Monday right before you guys start classes, and you guys can sort of talk about those things.
Yeah, we could definitely try that tomorrow.
And does 15 minutes sound like a reasonable amount of time, or you feel like something different? Because if 5 minutes works best for you guys to just kind of get everything out and maybe address it later, that could work.
We are in a busy season, but we both of us always come in like an hour early, so there's always a possibility of it being more than 5 minutes.
Sure. Awesome. So 5 to 15 minutes, whatever you guys are able to figure, works best for your schedule for that day. It might be a little bit flexible just because of the time of year. But see if you can do that until the next time we come back.
Sure.
And then the next time we come back, we can see how that worked out and how you're feeling after doing that for about a week.
So would you like for me to still journal if anything was to come up that I got frustrated about anything?
I would. And how do you feel about doing, kind of both of those? Does that feel?
I don't have to journal like every day, like 10 times. And maybe if something comes up, then I'll just put it in.
Sure. I like the way you look at that. If it's something that does become, begin to feel overwhelming, we could, try making one of those optional and see how that feels as far as the workload, because there is a lot that you're, kind of toggling right now.
Yeah. Sounds great.
Perfect. All right. So let's kind of switch gears and talk about the next concern that you had in mind. You want to find another position in a closer school, so which definitely makes sense. You said that there's a lot of people moving to West Chapel. Traffic is really bad, and so not only is your job does it have a lot of demands, but having a long drive on top of that probably just adds to that tenfold. So. As far as finding a new job, what have you been doing lately?
Well, the good thing on that is I have applied to 4 different positions, and I already have an interview with one. That's going to be this coming week at 7:30 on Thursday.
Congrats.
So thank you. It is a school that I really look forward to getting hired on because it's very similar. Like the structure and the culture is very similar to my school. So I'm already used to that. And I just want to go to a place that's not only close to home, but a place that is a collaborative culture and a place where I can learn. Yeah, I want to grow.
Beautiful. That sounds like awesome goals that you have for yourself already, that you've already set out. Is there anything that I can help you do in your pursuit of a new job? Would you like to set goals here that you might be able to follow until you find your new position?
Like what? Like what do you have in mind?
Sure. I was thinking that maybe this week, along with your other tasks, you might set a goal of applying to one job per week in an area that is closer to you, at a school that is closer to you, if you haven't already.
That's kind of like along with the same mindset that I've been having. I check every morning.
Okay.
To see what schools are available, and if it's a school that I'm interested in, then yeah, I will apply for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also a supply and demand. So if they don't have the positions, I can look. But yeah, that's why I was able to do 4 this week, because there was a ton. So that was good.
Awesome. So you have been really proactive. So I'm really glad to hear that. That's awesome.
I've been trying for 2 years now. It's a little.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. This is the year.
This is a lot of interviews and moving forward. So I'm excited for you.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm excited that we were able to meet today. I would really like to just check in to see that we understand, what happened today, and then what you can expect for the next session. So today we were able to, set up what we were going to talk about today, kind of explain why agenda setting is, the best option for us. We got to talk about, your anxiety, what that means, talk a little bit about the things that have been concerning you this week, toggle some different coping mechanisms that we can use in the moment that we are able to use this week until we come back next week so we can talk about them. And then now I'd like to get some feedback from you to see, how exactly you're feeling, and if there is any other, if anything concerned you during the session, or any, comments or concerns that you have.
No, actually, I feel just a little more sense of, I can do this. I do have goals. It kind of just talking it out made me realize that I do have some goals, and it's just a tough time of the year. So I mean, this too shall pass. It'll be finished by the end of this Friday, and so we're good. Actually, by Wednesday, and then we'll be good with the kids, and then Friday we'll get to have our summer break. So that'll be good.
Good, awesome. I like how you corrected yourself and that it's not a bad year. It's just a stressful week. So
yeah.
So good. It's kind of the whole reason why we're here is it's not a bad day. It's not a bad life. It's a bad day, and kind of having that mindset moving forward. That how we feel about things affect how our emotions and our behavior, and we're able to sort of change that. We can really help ourselves out in the long run.
That's true.
All right.
I appreciate that.
So before we go, I'd just like to go over our homework one more time. This week, for about 5 to 15 minutes a week, a day, 5 to 15 minutes for one day a week. We'll go ahead and talk to your coworker, kind of go over things that are stressing you, kind of work out different ways of organization, different ways of being able to do things in a more effective way, so that you aren't feeling so disorganized and stressed. And then continue doing what you're doing with your job search, so that you're able to get home and closer.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that'll be great for you. And then let's set up scheduling. So you said Tuesdays and Thursdays during the week are best for you. What day and time next week would work best to come see me?
Next week? Oh, I'm good. We can even do it during the day if you're available.
Oh, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
First week of summer, so congratulations. So how does Monday this week at noon look for you?
Noon should work perfectly.
Okay, awesome. So I will see you next week at noon. And until then, be well.
All right. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
My computer is being a little chicken nugget.